biometric testing in airports and how I feel about it. So I got this message the other day just asking me how I feel about these kind of tests in the airport. Now, interestingly, when I first started waking up to the world, to the system, to whatever dimension, plane, existence this world is that we live in, I started my journey going down the truth route, finding out lots of information about governments, institutions, what we're led to believe, the information that we are literally fed in our lives, the things that we are expected to think and believe. And that's how I started my journey. And in that place, there is a lot to learn. There's a lot of information, but then there's also a lot of stuff that can feel quite scary, right? And whilst I was in that place, I felt myself feeling a little bit helpless, a little bit like a victim. What can we do when we are just like little people, and then there's all of these bad people that are running the show and pulling all the strings behind the scenes and all of that jazz? Whilst I was on that journey, I quickly became aware of my energy, that I am a creator, and that my energy and attention and focus is incredibly powerful. And as soon as I started to realise that, I started to question some of this stuff that I was consuming, right? And questioning why I would be putting my energy, attention and focus on those things, when knowing that when I do, I'm just creating more of that in my world. So when this lady messaged me to ask me what I thought about the biometric testing, I was just really, really honest. And my answer to her was, at one point I would have been really nervous about it and not consented to it all. Now I pay it absolutely no attention at all. Sorry, I've got like my daughter's spamming me just as I'm filming this. Yeah, I literally pay no attention at all. When I go through the scans, when I go through, you've got to stand there with your arms out and radiate, whatever it is, I literally set the intention in my mind. I do not consent. I do not consent to any authority or any body of people having or using any information of mine. I also do not consent to having any radiation or anything harmful whatsoever in my body. Now, I set that intention. I know and I trust that I am a powerful being, that I am way more than just this physical body here called Laura. And I know, and this might sound completely bonkers and that's fine, but I know that my physical body has completely changed as well in terms of how it's made up. And I don't understand that. I know I'm saying that and I don't fully understand that, but I feel it. Like the energy that comes through my body, I can't even begin to explain it, but I just know that some people call it turn into a crystalline body. I know there's probably technical terms out there, and if you've been in this space longer, you'll be like shouting at the screen saying, yes, this is what's happening to you, Laura, this is what's happening. For me, what I am just experiencing is different frequencies, different energies in my body, and I know and I fully trust that just saying I do not consent is more than enough to protect me, my information, to protect the makeup of my body, the biology, the cells, to protect against any sort of radiation or any bad stuff going on in my body. So that was my answer that I gave. But that's where I'm at in terms of my belief. I fully know and I fully trust that the power that I have with my intention, that I will be absolutely protected. I have got absolutely nothing to worry about, and I fully trust that. Now, here's the thing. If you are a person who's fearful and worries about things, you're kind of carrying that vibration. And if there's a belief in there somewhere that something's going to be used against you, that something's going to harm you, guess what? It will, because you create it, right? Your energy, attention, beliefs, your focus kind of creates that in your world. And this is why we need to be absolutely aware of what we've got going on inside of ourselves. At one point, I was the same. I was absolutely the same. So, for example, my phone, when I used to hold my phone next to my ear, I could feel the heat coming through my phone. I could feel the radiation like on my ear. It was that strong. When I use AirPods, I can feel the heat, right? And it was so obvious and it was really intense. Now I don't feel a thing. I literally say I do not consent to anything bad affecting any of my body at all. And I don't feel it anymore. It's like I've got this protective shield, whatever it is, around me. And I know to normal people that sounds nuts and like crazy, but I know it to be true because I've seen it, I've felt it, I've experienced it. The amount of times where I'm in situations where, how can I explain this? So sometimes when I've had like an activation or an upgrade or a frequency or something, I struggle to be around people. I struggle to be in public spaces. And my body feels like jittery. I feel thin. I feel like I'm about to pass out. And then as soon as I say, right, calling in my team, my galactics, my guides, spirit, whatever, come and just be with me and surround me and protect me, like instantly it shifts and I feel instantly better because I've got to ask for it, right? We've got free will, we've all got it, we can all ask for this. But this has helped me build up that absolute knowing and trust that now I can trust and just say I do not consent. So for example, when I'm out on the bike on my little scooter, I'm literally just saying thank you for keeping me safe. And you know what? And this is how much trust I've got. If I fall off that scooter and I end up in hospital, I know that's for a reason, for my highest good, because everything's always working for my highest good. Again, I know that to be true. That's my belief. But that's the journey, right? It's about getting to that point in your own journey where you can fully trust and can fully believe that everything's always working out for you, because it is if you believe it. If you believe things are going to go bad and things are going to go wrong, guess what? That's going to happen because you're a creator. I'm a creator. We literally create everything in our lives. And if you're saying to me like, Laura, that's not true because this bad thing's happening and that bad thing's happening, well, it is. And the reason why those bad things are happening is because somewhere in your vibration there is something going on that means that gives you the belief that something bad's going to happen. Let me give you an example of that. How do I make that make sense? So as a young child, just let's talk about this lifetime, for example. As a young child, if you experienced something in your world that went wrong, so for example, dad came home drunk, he had an argument with mum and somebody ended up getting hurt. Something massive. That was, to a young child, that is insane. That's like your safety, that's your security, that's your caregivers, everything. That's your entire world blowing up in your face, right? The next day, what you witness is grandma coming home and grandma's poorly and she ends up in hospital. Again, that's massive. To a young child, that's like something else that's gone wrong, right? And then the next day something else goes wrong. So that young child puts meaning on that things are always going to go wrong, and that becomes like a belief. That's like an ingrained frequency. What I'm trying to say is everything's inside our bodies, everything is stored in there. So if you are a person who kind of always has that anxiety, something bad's going to happen, it's coming from somewhere. It's coming from one of these really, really early experiences. But what I'm trying to say is we create it all. So I've got to the point now where I trust 100% and I know 100% that everything is always working out for me. So when I go through these scanners and all whatever in the airport, like I said, I just set the intention and I fully know that I'm fine. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing bad is going to happen to me. But that might not be the case for you. Maybe it's about going on that journey of trusting and starting to trust in the universe and the world that actually it is working for you. But it is about shifting in these vibrations, these traumas, these experiences in our bodies that the body holds on to. Like your cells literally hold on to all of this stuff, and that's what creates your outer reality. So if you're a person who's in that sort of truther place, and consuming all that fear, all that fear, somebody mentioned something about a comet or God knows what. I don't watch any of the news. I don't even watch any of the truth news anymore. I couldn't give a flying monkeys about any of that stuff. I had an interesting conversation with somebody a while ago and there was like, oh, but this person got this through the meditation and somebody else at the other side of the world got the same information that this bad thing's going to happen. And I'm like, no, not in my world. I couldn't give a monkey's how many different people are getting the same message about whatever meteorite is going to come and hit Earth, or whatever bad thing that's going to happen. Not on my timeline. I am creating my timeline. And on my timeline, I'm creating and moving into the new Earth where everything's good and happy, and people are connecting into themselves. People are finding happiness, wholeness, fulfillment inside themselves, and then they can radiate out love, joy, happiness, peace to the world, right? That's where I'm going. That's what I'm creating in my world. And that's what I am here to do, to help you to do the same. I also don't buy into like the Agenda 2030 or the smart cities or digital IDs or any of that stuff. That's not happening in my world. That's not happening on my timeline. Why is it not happening on my timeline? Because I'm not consuming it. I'm not allowing it to be my reality. I'm literally focusing on what I want to create in this world. And I fully trust if those things are happening around me, then they'll happen around me. But I know that I will be using my intuition, my inner guidance, the guidance that I've got to be in the right place at the right time, so none of it affects me. Just like the whole 2020 thing, right? Didn't affect me or anyone I know. Nobody got hurt, nobody died, nobody had problems. In fact, the people around me actually had a great time, and businesses flourished and all of the good stuff, because I put my energy and attention on what I wanted to create rather than the fear mongering around it. We literally create it all. So just be really, really aware of what you're consuming. What are you allowing your mind to be thinking about? What are you looking at? What are you focusing on? Because you're creating more of that in your world. And this is why we've got to just be so aware of these Truether channels and all of the stuff, right? Yes, there's the mainstream news, but yes, a lot of the time, the stuff that you're going to get going down your rabbit holes as well is going to create more. Going to create more fear, more worry, more panic. Is this what you want to create? Because it's not what I'm creating. Now, I do not put my energy and attention on anything. I couldn't give a monkey's what anybody is predicting for the future, what governments are saying, what this body of people are saying, what this important person is saying or predicting. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm not waiting for anyone to come to change, to come and save. The amount of times when it's like, oh, this person's going to come and save the world. They're the saviour. Let's worship them. Absolutely fucking not. The only person that's going to save you is you. And the only way you're going to do that is going inside your body and allowing yourself to feel all of those emotions, all of that experience as a child, past lives, ancestral stuff. Got to feel it. You've got to acknowledge it. You've got to feel it. You've got to allow all of that to move and to shift. And that's how we transmute energy. We are energy, right? That's it. We are energy. We've got to allow the energy to shift through our bodies, transmute it, and then we change. We literally change our frequencies inside our bodies, but then our outer world changes as well. Honestly, I cannot tell you how true that is. I know it sounds nuts. It absolutely is the case. When you start doing the inner work and you start transmuting the energy that you're carrying inside your body, literally people show up differently in your life. Literally situations just unfold like miracles. It's nuts. Honestly, it's the most nuts thing you'll ever experience. It's like, what? The amount of times I say to people, is this even real? Like, is this real now? It's like I've got the cheat code. The cheat code. Honestly. I mean, I've not absolutely bossed it yet. I'm well on my way. There's still a lot of work there. There's a lot of years of beliefs, of meanings, of patterns, of cycles. Just this morning, there was a new one that came up. I'll share it with you, actually. It was about connection. Actual true connection. I even had to Google the word, what does connection mean? And I wrote it down, and when I wrote it down, I just cried. Because I thought, do you know what? Even as a child, I have never experienced true connection. I'm trying to remember the definition now. Feeling safe, feeling stable, feeling... I can't remember what it was, but just Google compassion. And even with my parents, there was never that there. There was elements of it, but never... Google connection. There was never all of it. And that's not like blaming them or shaming or anything like that. That's just how life was. You know, they probably never felt true connection with their parents either, and their parents probably never felt true connection. But, you know, this is what we choose to come and experience on some level, right? But yeah, there's a whole load of sadness there for me, for the version of me, well, me, the adult, even now, who's never experienced true connection. I mean, I have with my female friends, absolutely, but not with a romantic partner or a parent. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack. So that's what I'm saying. It's an ongoing journey, this. The more we learn, the more we understand about ourselves, the more we release and transmute, then the deeper we go, and then we get to finally uncover who we are and access some of these. Another one that I was talking to one of my friends about, and she's like, I had to Google what joy was. And I found myself sharing with her as well. Do you know what I did as well a few weeks ago? I was like, what even is joy? This word that we use so much, but have I actually really felt it? Or has my mind told me that I felt it? And I think my mind had told me that I'd felt it. Because the joy that I've experienced, I mean, I have had such an amazing life. I'm not saying that I haven't. And I've had amazing people in my life. But the joy that I realised that I had experienced was as a result of the person I was being. And the person that I was being was a person who had to give so much of herself, a lot of effort on my part to experience the bare minimum coming back to me. That's basically what I had recreated again and again and again in my life. So yeah, it's taking absolute radical responsibility for it all of it. There's not one part where you can be like, well, that's happened to me and that's happened to me, and because yeah, you know, I think crappy things do happen, but somewhere along the line we learn as a little one that that's what life was. That's what we expect. And as soon as we can unpick that and acknowledge where that came from, and then really let ourselves lean into what's there, as painful as it is and as hard as it might be, to let ourselves to go into that and access that emotion that's stored in the body and let it move. The anger, the rage, the fury, the grief, the upset, the betrayal, abandonment, whatever it is that's there, once we allow it to move, then literally the world changes. It does. So I just wanted to share that. I've completely gone off my trail of what I'm saying, but yeah, I'm not going to let the idea of some system stop me from doing the things that I love. You know, you're talking to a person here who has got so much trust and faith in the world, in the universe, that when the entire world was locked down and nobody could travel without certain requirements in 2020, shall we say, fucked off around the world with my family. Not one test, not one jab between us. And yeah, you know, I was going through airports absolutely worried sick, but I just called on my guides and my angels, and they just literally escorted us through airports. It was amazing. That was just one of the many miracles that I've experienced. You know, it was literally impossible what we did. Literally impossible. But that's how much trust I have in the universe, because that there could have been some massive consequences there, and I just called in my spirit team who totally sorted it out for me. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that helps. Just remember, you are creating it all. If you are worried that something bad's going to happen, guess what? It's going to happen. If you believe that you are divinely guided, protected, looked after, guess what? You are creating it all, the good and the bad. So figure out what it is in here that is creating the not so good stuff in your life. Let it move, feel into it, guide it. Work with a healer if you need to. Sending you love. Have a gorgeous day.